Patching a track for recording. Okay, so there's a couple ways to do this, but before we do, we want to check if the track is mono or stereo. It's most typical to record voiceovers in mono. So for this exercise, you'll change the A1 track format from stereo to mono. Then you'll use the input settings in the mixer to patch the microphone to the mono track. To see the current number of channels in a track, you might need to increase the track height. So step 1, drag the bottom of the A1 track header downwards to increase the height of the track until you see the text "no clip" in the lower left and the 2.0 channel indicator in the upper right. A1, we're going to drag this down, no clip, 2.0. The 2.0 channel indicator on the A1 track header shows that the empty track is stereo with 2 channels, left and right. You can change a track's channel format at any time via the right-click contextual menu. Right-click the A1 track header area and choose Change Track Type to Mono. So, Control-click. Change track type to mono. See that? So you can control click or right click, change track type to mono. And now it says 1.0. Now the A1 track headers channel indicator shows 1.0, which means it's a single channel mono track. So note you'll work with more channel mapping for clips and tracks in Lesson 4, preparing multi-channel clips for dialogue editing. Okay, so let's see, that was step 2. Now step 3, name the A1 track to Scratch VO. Just click in the where it says Audio 1 and Scratch VO. Okay. Show the mixer. So we're going to open the mixer here. Input settings are displayed at the top of each channel strip just below the track number assignment. Tracks without an assigned input will display no input. At the top of the A1 channel strip in the input pop-up menu, choose Input. A1, right here where it says Input, click that and choose Input. The Patch Input-Output window opens. This window displays the source inputs to the left and the destination tracks to the right. Select the first channel for your microphone as the source and select the Scratch VO track as the destination. So, Thunderbolt 1, Thunderbolt 2, I am plugged into track 1. You'll be plugged into track 1 in the Audient as well. So here's the input source. And my output source is the Scratch VO. It's actually the only destination possible. And let's patch that. Okay. Check, check. See, click Patch to set your input patch. The Patch Input-Output window and the A1 channel strip in the mixer update to show that the microphone channel you selected is patched to the A1 track. Right here. And if you hover over it, it gives you a little tag, 1 Universal Audio Thunderbolt. Okay? And that'll say Audient for you in the lab or whatever interface you are on and the channel you're in is what you're going to patch it to. Okay, close the patch input and output window, which I did. Your track is created and patched, so now you can arm it for recording. The arm button, labeled R for arm or record, is available in both the track's header and the track's channel strip in the mixer. Here. And here. Same button. Arm for record. The arm buttons in both the track header and channel strip turn red to indicate the track is armed for recording. There it is. It's now armed. Okay, you can hear that. You can hear my vocal probably being doubled in my video now because you're hearing the video capture software I'm using plus Davinci. Now that the track is patched and armed, it's a good idea to take a moment to check your monitoring style. I'm going to turn this off for a minute just so it's not confusing. Davinci Resolve 18 offers a variety of user-defined input monitoring styles with which you can hear the microphone signal before, during, or after you record. In the Fairlight menu, you have 5 input monitor style options from which to choose, including input, auto, record, mute, and repro. The input style lets you hear only the live signal on input, whereas the record style limits you to monitoring the input signal to active recording when the record button is on. The repro style monitors only the audio already recorded to the track instead of hearing the live input. You can review what was just recorded during recording. As you might have guessed, when you choose the mute style, you'll hear nothing. If you think you'd never need to use the mute style, imagine trying to record a scratch voiceover in the same room as the speaker's monitors, but without using headphones. Fortunately, the default input monitoring style, auto, is perfect for the recording exercise because it lets you hear the live input signal from armed tracks during recording, as well as the contents of each track during playback. In the Fairlight menu, choose Input Monitor Style Auto. Let's see. In the Fairlight menu, let me go back. In the Fairlight menu, choose Input Monitor Style Auto. Fairlight. Input Monitor Style Auto. Right here. See that? Fairlight menu. Input Monitor Style Auto. Okay. Speaking to the microphone, you should be able to hear the input signal through your headphones and or speakers. Again, I have turned off the record enable just so that it doesn't sound crazy as I'm making this lesson video. Okay, I'll turn that back on when it's time to record. Finally, if you're using an external microphone and audio input-output interface, which you will be, you might need to increase the microphone input level, so you can do so in the Path Settings window in the Input pop-up menu. In the mixer, the A1 channel strip's Input pop-up menu, choose Path Settings. Let's see. Wait. In the mixer, in the A1 channel strips input pop-up menu, choose Path Settings. Okay, here. The Path Settings window opens with the standard controls for adjusting the input level of audio signals for each track. Here you can use the mic instrument control to adjust the mic instrument level for the source patched to the A1 track. But note, if you're using an audio interface to connect your microphone, you might not see these controls in the Path Settings window. In that case, you use controls of the interface. So we don't want to actually increase this. Let's see what that does. Check, check, check. Can we increase it here? Can we increase it here? Check it, check, 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 check. That does increase it. that's controlling the input. But I'm going to option click. Oh, put this to 0. I do not want to change it here necessarily. What I want to do is change it on my interface. So you can actually select the preamp gain and turn it up or down on the actual interface. Okay. So right now I'm coming in at a pretty good level, -15. That's actually pretty good for voiceover, between -15 and 10. So -12 is a good target. So you can use the path settings here for recording level. You could trim it, direct output, pre or post. You can turn that off or on, direct output. You can insert things, but we don't want to mess with this too much because we want to get all of our gain on the actual interface preamp. Okay, so if you do need more gain, say you've got your preamp turned up a lot and you need a little more, you could get a little more here. So check, check, check. But you got to be careful because it's going to get real hot here. And now you can start clipping. If you're hitting the red, that's bad. Okay. So I'm going to come back to no boost or cut. So what we're dealing with is getting your microphone recording level dialed in. And that should happen on your mic preamp on your interface. But you have this extra feature in Davinci Resolve to control the input and the trim as well. Okay, when you're finished, press Escape to close the path settings window. And I actually just closed it by clicking this X, or you can press Escape. Hide the mixer. Let's hide the mixer. Boom. Okay, move the playhead over the beginning of the text clip in the V1 Video 1 track so you can read the text in the viewer. You're ready to record. Move the playhead over the beginning. There it is. There's the text. Okay, so that shows you the text. And the text is here, but it displays here. Again, if for some reason you don't see that, it is right here in the meter section here, and you could pop it out here and then close meters. It should already be down there from previous. All right, recording in the timeline. You have completed all the necessary steps to prepare your project for recording. Remember, you're creating a scratch voiceover track, so don't worry about the quality of your microphone or background noise. Before you start recording, it's a good idea to practice your lines and double check that the recordings bin is still selected. If necessary, in the media pool, select the recordings bin to designate it as the storage location for your new recordings. Okay, because we actually chose this here, we're going to come down, choose recordings bin. For the purposes of this voiceover recording session, you'll need to read through the lines sequentially, one after another. You'll separate the different lines and move them into position in the next lesson. Keep in mind that the final voiceover line comes at the end of the scene. Practice reading your voiceover lines. So go ahead right now and pause this video and practice reading these lines. So these are you. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Philip Maida. Philip Maida. I cannot explain this discrepancy. Earth date is March 22, 2103. So practice those. Pause this video and practice those. Okay, so make sure the A1 track's arm button is red. Recording starts at the playhead position on the arm track. So move the playhead to the beginning of the timeline. You'll find the record button in the transport controls at the top of the screen. When the playhead starts moving and drawing a red region with the arm track, you are recording. Okay, so let's go ahead and record this. So we're going to arm it. Check. All right. We're going to hit the record button. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Philip Maeda. Philip Maeda. I cannot explain this discrepancy. Earth date is March 22, 2103. There you go. Hit the space bar and you can stop recording. I've turned off the record enable just for my video capture so it doesn't sound crazy for you, but you could leave that on if you'd like. In the transport controls, click the record button, read the script in the microphone. When you're finished, press the space bar to stop recording. So I just demonstrated that, so now you pause this video and do that. Okay, so now the new audio clip appears in the A1 Scratch VO track here and in the recordings bin as a WAV file here. Notice the clip name starts with the track name, Scratch VO, followed by the take number, 001. Also, the playhead automatically returns to the starting position because you have the stop and go to last position option selected in the transport controls. Play the clip to hear your recorded take. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Philip Maeda. Philip Maeda. I cannot explain this discrepancy. Earth date is March 22, 2103. Okay, so pause this video and listen back to your recording. Okay, so now don't worry if your recording is rough. The purpose of this lesson is to give you the skills to record audio in the Fairlight page, not perfect your talent as a voiceover artist. That being said, if you work in corporate or commercial video, you know that recording Scratch, rough voiceover, and narration tracks is all part of the job. Let's record another take over the first one. Doing so will not overwrite the first recording. Instead, the new take will be saved as a separate layer in the same track. To keep track of your takes, let's color code them as you go. Right-click the first take in the A1 track and choose Clip Color Yellow. Clip color, yellow. Look at that. So just right-click or control-click, go to Clip Color, and yellow. Record another take. When you're finished, stop playback and change the color of the second take to orange and listen to it. Okay. Here goes another pass. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Philip Maeda. Philip Maeda. I cannot explain this discrepancy. Earth date is March 22, 2103. Okay, now I'm going to control click, clip color, and choose orange. I also want to turn that off just for my own video recording purposes. Okay. If your second take is shorter than the first, you'll see where the second recording overlaps the first track. Barely here. Let's see. If I was to Command plus and zoom a little, you'll see it. See the underlying one here. Okay. Now that you've recorded several full takes, you can try recording a partial take of just the fifth phrase. I cannot explain this discrepancy. In the playback menu, choose stop and go to last position and turn off the playback mode. So, I need to make sure I got that right. Stop and go to last position and turn off the playback mode. Cool. So I want to control click this stop and turn that off. Press the JKL keys using the waveform as a guide and move the playhead to the beginning of the fifth phrase. So L is going to play forward. And if you keep pressing it, it will fast forward to the beginning of the fifth phrase. Fifth phrase. I might have gone to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to J, go back. Use the practice in the skin on A. Yeah. K to stop. Here we go. This time, when you record the third take, vary the line slightly so the computer says can't instead of cannot. I cannot explain this discrepancy. Okay. I'm going to come back. Use the practice in the skin on A. Yeah. Record enable. And hit record. I can't explain this discrepancy. Click click the record button to record the entire sentence. I can't explain this discrepancy, which I just demonstrated. Click the stop button or press the space bar to stop recording. Okay, so you get this new section. Let me turn that off. Okay. Change the partial take color to apricot. Right click or control click, clip color, apricot. Disarm the A1 track. Notice the A1 track header shows that it contains 3 clips right here. So to disarm the track, again, you'll do what I just did. You'll turn that red record enable off. Save your project. Now that you've recorded several takes in the same track, let's show the audio track layers so you can see all your tracks at once. Oh, let's save it. S, Command S, or Save Project. Okay, so now that you've recorded several takes on the same track, let's show the audio track layers so you can see all your takes at once. Showing audio track layers. Track layers are a powerful way to record and edit multiple clips in a single track. The most important thing to remember when working with track layers is that you hear only the uppermost clip at any given time. You'll work more extensively with audio track layers in the next lesson. For now, let's show the track layers so you can see your separate recorded takes. So 1, hide the media pool and index. Clicking here. Move the viewer lower in the timeline if needed for more room to see the A1 track. It's actually looking pretty good there. We can move it over this way, I guess. Choose View, Show Audio Track Layers. View, Show Audio Track Layers. Each clip has its own layer, and an empty clip size space appears in the track above the clips. The height of each clip and layer is based on the track height and the number of clips in the track. When starting playback, only the uppermost clip exposed to the playhead is played. Play the A1 track and listen to the selected takes. Emiliana Newton. Yes. Philip Maeda. Philip Maeda. I can't explain this discrepancy. Earth date is March 22. At the moment, you hear only take 2 and take 3. So you hear take 2 all the way to here, and then you hear take 3 here, and back to take 2. Okay, choose View, Show Audio Track Layers to deselect that option. You've successfully set up and patched, armed, and recorded a track voiceover. Now check this out. Just for fun, you can, well, we'll show you that in a later example here. So we're going to View, Show Audio Track Layers, and we're hiding those layers. Okay, in a later lesson, you're going to learn how to comp those. Okay, so we're ready to move on to the next part.